Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton, MBE, is a British Formula One racing driver from England, currently racing for the Mercedes AMG Petronas team. He is the 2008, 2014 and 2015 Formula One World Champion. In December 1995, at the age of 10, he approached McLaren team principal Ron Dennis at the Autosport Awards ceremony and told him, "I want to race for you one day. I want to race for McLaren." Less than 3 years later, McLaren and Mercedes-Benz signed him to the Young Driver Support Program. After winning the British Formula Renault, Formula 3 Euro Series, and GP2 championships on his way up the racing career ladder, he drove for McLaren in 2007, making his Formula One debut 12 years after his initial encounter with Dennis. Hamilton's contract for the McLaren Driver Development Program made him the youngest ever driver to secure a contract, which later resulted in a Formula One drive. Coming from a mixed background, with a black father and white mother, Hamilton is often labeled the first black driver in Formula One. Although Willie T. Ribbs tested a Formula One car in 1986, in his first season in Formula One, Hamilton set numerous records while finishing second in the 2007 Formula One Championship, just 1 point behind Kimi Raikkonen. He won the World Championship the following season in dramatic fashion, becoming the then youngest Formula One World Champion in history before Sebastian Vettel broke the record 2 years later. Following his second world title in 2014, he was named BBC Sports Personality of the Year. In 2015, he became the first British driver in history to win consecutive F1 titles, and the second Brit to win 3 titles after Jackie Stewart. He also became the first English driver to reach that milestone. He is the first driver in the history of F1 to have made the podium after starting 20th place or at least 3 times. He is the only driver in the history of the sport to have won at least 1 race in each season he has competed to date, with McLaren from 2007 until 2012, and with Mercedes since 2013. He has more race victories than any other British driver in the history of Formula One and is currently third on the all-time wins list, with 49 wins. Early life. Hamilton was born on the 7th of January 1985 in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, England. Although widely reported as being named after American sprinter Carl Lewis, Hamilton states that this is not the case. Hamilton's mother, Carmen, is white British, while his father, Anthony Hamilton, is black British, making him mixed race. Anthony Hamilton's parents moved to the UK from Grenada in the 1950s. Lewis Hamilton's parents separated when he was 2. As a result of this, he lived with his mother and half-sisters Nicola and Samantha until he was 12, when he started living with his father, stepmother Linda, and half-brother Nicholas, also a professional racing driver who has cerebral palsy. In early 2011, Nicholas signed with Total Control Racing to start a racing career in the 2011 Renault Clio Cup. Hamilton was raised a Roman Catholic. Hamilton's father bought him a radio-controlled car in 1991, which gave him his first taste of racing competition. Hamilton finished second in the National BRCA Championship the following year. He said of the time, "I was racing these remote-controlled cars and winning club championships against adults." As a result of this, his father bought him his first go-kart as a Christmas present at the age of 6. His father told him that he would support his racing career as long as he worked hard at school. Supporting his son became problematic, which caused him to take redundancy from his position as an IT manager and become a contractor. He was sometimes employed in up to 3 jobs at a time, while still managing to find enough time to attend all Hamilton's races. He later set up his own computer company as well as working as a full-time manager for Hamilton. Hamilton ended his working relationship with his father in early 2010 and subsequently signed a management deal in March 2011 with Simon Fuller's firm 19 Entertainment. In November 2014, Hamilton announced that he would not be renewing his management contract with Fuller. Hamilton was educated at the John Henry Newman School, a voluntary-aided Catholic secondary school in Stevenage, Hertfordshire. Alongside his interest for racing, he played association football for his school team with England international midfielder Ashley Young. Hamilton said that if Formula One had not worked for him, he would have been a footballer, being a big fan of Arsenal FC, or a cricketer, having played both for his school teams as a youngster. He subsequently attended, in February 2001, Cambridge Arts and Sciences, a private sixth form college in Cambridge. At the age of 5, Hamilton took up karate to defend himself as a result of bullying at school. At around 12, he learned to ride a unicycle as part of his karting rivalry with future F1 Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg, who could already ride one. Early career karting. Hamilton began karting in 1993 at the age of 8 at the Rye House Kart Circuit and quickly began winning races and cadet class championships. At the age of 10, he approached McLaren F1 team boss Ron Dennis for an autograph and told him, "Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton. I won the British Championship and one day I want to be racing your cars." Dennis wrote in his autograph book, "Phone me in 9 years. We'll sort something out then." Hamilton drove for Martin Hines' Zip Young Guns karting team. For the cadet ranks, he progressed through to junior Yamaha, and Ron Dennis actually called him in 1998 after Hamilton won an additional Super 1 Series and his second British Championship. Dennis delivered on his promise and signed Hamilton to the McLaren Driver Development Program. This contract included an option of a future F1 seat, which would eventually make Hamilton the youngest ever driver to secure a contract, which later resulted in an F1 drive. Hamilton continued his progress in the Intercontinental A, Formula A and Formula Super A ranks, and became European champion in 2000 with maximum points in Formula A and Formula Super A, racing for Team MBM.com. His teammate was Nico Rosberg, who would later drive for the Williams and Mercedes teams in Formula One. They would later team up again for Mercedes in 2013. Following his karting successes, the British Racing Drivers Club made him a Rising Star member in 2000. In 2001, Michael Schumacher made a one-off return to karts and competed against Hamilton along with other future F1 drivers Vitantonio Liuzzi and Nico Rosberg. Hamilton ended the final in 7th, 4 places behind Schumacher. Although the two saw little of each other on the track, Schumacher praised the young Brit in Formula Renault and Formula 3. Hamilton began his car racing career in the 2001 British Formula Renault Winter Series. Despite crashing on his 3rd lap in the car in testing, he finished 5th overall in the Winter Series. This led to a full 2002 Formula Renault UK campaign with Manor Motorsport. Hamilton finished 3rd overall with 3 wins and 3 pole positions. He remained with Manor for another year and won the championship with 10 wins and 419 points to the 2 wins and 377 points of his nearest rival, Alex Lloyd. Having clinched the championship, Hamilton missed the last 2 races of the season to make his debut in the season finale of the British Formula 3 Championship. Here he was less successful. In the first race he was forced out with a puncture, and in the second he crashed out and was taken to hospital after a collision with his teammate Tor Graves. He did show his speed at both the Macau Grand Prix and Korea Super Prix. In the latter he qualified on pole position in his first visit to the track and in only his fourth F3 race. Asked in 2002 about the prospect of becoming one of the youngest ever Formula One drivers, Hamilton replied that his goal was not to be the youngest in F1, to be experienced and then show what I can do in F1. Later in 2004, Williams would announce that they had come close to signing him but were refused the opportunity due to BMW, their engine supplier at the time, refusing to fund Hamilton's career. Hamilton eventually re-signed with McLaren, and made his debut with Manor in the 2004 Formula 3 Euro Series. They won one race and Hamilton ended the year fifth in the championship. He also won the Bahrain F3 Super Prix and raced one of the Macau F3 Grand Prix. Hamilton first tested for McLaren in late 2004 at Silverstone. Hamilton moved to the reigning Euro Series champions ASM for the 2005 season and dominated the championship, winning 15 of the 20 rounds. This would have been 16 but for being disqualified from one win at Spa-Francorchamps on a technical infringement that caught out several other drivers. He also won the Marlboro Masters of Formula 3 at Zandvoort. After the season, British magazine Autosport featured him in their Top 50 Drivers of 2005 issue, ranking Hamilton 24th. Due to his success in Formula 3, he moved to ASM's sister GP2 team Mard Grand Prix for 2006. Just like the sister team in F3, Art were the leaders of the field and reigning champions, having taken the 2005 GP2 crown with Nico Rosberg. Hamilton won the GP2 championship at his first attempt, beating Nelson Piquet Jr. and Timo Glock. His performances included a dominant win at the Nürburgring, despite serving a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. At his home race at Silverstone, supporting the British Grand Prix, Hamilton overtook two rivals at Beckett's, a series of high-speed bends where overtaking is rare. In Istanbul he recovered from a spin that left him in 18th place to take second position in the final corners. He won the title in unusual circumstances, inheriting the final point he needed after Giorgio Pantano was stripped of fastest lap in the Monza feature race. In the sprint race, though he finished second with Piquet sixth, he finished 12 points clear of his rival. His 2006 GP2 championship coincided with a vacancy at McLaren following the departure of Juan Pablo Montoya to NASCAR and Kimi Raikkonen to Ferrari. After months of speculation on whether Hamilton, Pedro de la Rosa or Gary Paffett would be paired with defending champion Fernando Alonso for 2007, Hamilton was confirmed as the team's second driver. He was told of McLaren's decision on the 30th of September, but the news was not made public until the 24th of November, for fear that it would be overshadowed by Michael Schumacher's retirement announcement.